How has the UFL progressed now in its second season?
I think the quality of football has gotten better for
Yeah.
sure. I've been able to do. I did the XFL in 2020. Well, I did NFL Europe way back when, but that's another story. But I did the XFL in 2020, and then it got shut down by COVID. Then when it came back, the USFL came back for Fox in 22 and 23. I did those, and then doing the UFL last year and this year. And out of the 5 years of spring football I've done, in this recent stretch, this is by far the best quality football. I don't think it's even close. Now, part of it is you had the XFL and USFL, two competing leagues with 16 teams. You've cut it down to 8 teams, and so obviously the quality should be better by having half the teams. But I think the quality's gotten better. I think the coaching's gotten better. I think there's still some issues that need to be addressed from a marketing standpoint, from a household recognition standpoint, and I think from a year-round investment, and I don't mean financial investment, but in commitments to some of these cities and some of these stadiums, and making sure that people get to know some of these players that are there. Whether your quarterback is going to be someone who works in the community to get the message out year-round. Those kinds of things I think could be improved. But this is, we're 1.5 years into a brand new league. And so these are growing pains, and I think that they're doing a great job. But the first thing is the football, and I think the football's phenomenally better than anything else I've seen this spring.
Would you say is the UFL should it be considered a success story yet, or is it still working to get there?
I think it's still working to get there. I mean, to be honest, again, we're a year plus. 7 weeks into the second season. So we're a year plus into it, and I think that the final chapter is not written. The final chapter will be written when either this is something that has been around for 4, 5, 6 years, and you've got teams in different markets, and the attendance is good, or it's something that it disappears, which I don't think it will. I honestly don't. In 2 or 3 years, and you go, okay, it's another spring league that did not work. One thing I will say, if this spring league doesn't work, I don't think spring football will ever work because of the quality of football, because of the commitment between Fox and Redbird. There's a bigger commitment to this than any other spring league. And again, I've seen them all than there's ever been. So if it doesn't work, it can't work. But I genuinely believe this will work. It just needs patience. And we live in a society where everybody wants everything day one to be the same ratings as something else. Well, I can tell you, you look at last year, I know for the complete ratings for last year, it was doing better than the NHL games at 1/10 of the investment from a network standpoint as far as rights fees and those kinds of things go. So I think that that's a financial success. And as long as it does that, those things will allow it to keep coming back. So I am a big believer in the future of this league and would love to be a part of it going forward as long as I can.
Yeah, there have been so many spring startups, but it does feel like this is like the last chance for spring football league to be successful. What is the value of spring football?
I think there are many different things. One, just if you love sports like I do. I mean, I travel the world and I watch a cricket match. I barely understand what's going on, but I like the competition of it, and I think a lot of people are like that. Secondly, even if you don't love all sports, if you love football, it gives you a little football fix in the springtime. And I think the opportunity aspect of it can't be overlooked. I think one thing that's different from this versus a lot of other spring leagues or NFL Europe, where everybody was looking to get back in the NFL. I think, everybody would love to get back in the NFL, but you got some guys that are 27, 28 years old, and their last real chance was probably 2 or 3 years ago. But they realized they could make a good life and still be a professional football player doing it at this level. And that's what I talk about, maybe making some investments in those types of guys within the communities that they're in, Birmingham year-round or Memphis year-round, so that fans get to know them. And so I think that is one of the things that's definitely different about it.
How involved is The Rock?
I think that he's been involved behind the scenes. I don't know if he's been in front of the camera as much as a lot of people had expected. And I wonder if that's not part of what, from a fan base, the recognition may be lost. Because I think a lot of people know The Rock owns a league, but is this the league he owns, or is that something else? So it's been one of those things, but obviously he's a busy guy. And so it's hard to kind of pin him down. But I expect we'll see him some, especially as we get in the playoffs and to the championship game. At least I'm guessing.
Yeah, I do think that is one way to help promote the league, like you were saying
Mhm.
earlier. One of the things the league could be marketed a little bit better, and you would imagine that the Rock could play a bigger role in
Wouldn't
doing
hurt.
that. Yeah.